Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing something different. I'm showing you the books that I bought in the last couple of months because it was a lot, if I may say so myself. So I don't have really a strategy for this. I'll just be going with the flow. I have 3 piles of books here in front of me. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this little video. Maybe I will be talking a little bit about the book and why I bought it. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. So first off, in this pile I have Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I basically bought this because I saw the series with my boyfriend and I really liked it, and also I'm in kind of an obsession phase with Neil Gaiman at the moment, so I really was looking forward to reading this, but I still haven't gotten along to reading it. Next up, we have, this is in German, Stadt der Diebe, but the original title is City of Thieves, and it's a book about 2 young men who are in Russia during the war, like the Second World War, and are on a mission to look for eggs or something like that, but it's really interesting, really traumatizing in a way, because it's very brutal in some parts of it. I really liked it, and yeah. Oh, it's by David Benioff, if I didn't mention. I really like this. I actually read it already in like an ebook copy, but I figured I really loved it, and so I needed a physical copy to annotate it and, you know, all of that. Now next off is a book that I also recently read, and then I liked it so much that I decided I needed to have a physical copy of this, and it is A Man Called Ove, I think is the English title. I read it in German, Ein Mann namens Ove, and I don't like this cover, I have to be honest, because the English book cover is really nice. I really love it. It's like this modern typewriting stuff, like very aesthetic. And this is just, I don't know, like, why? Probably it's more inspired to the movie, because I know there's also a movie about this book, or inspired by this book. But yeah, I really liked it. Now moving on, we have another Neil Gaiman book here, and it is no other than Neverwhere. This was maybe one of the first Neil Gaiman books that I bought. Like this I bought in a second-hand English bookstore here in Germany. And yeah, it's really nice. I still haven't read it. I haven't gotten along to read it, but I'm really excited to delve into this story. Now next up, well, I have 3 other Neil Gaiman's books here, and one of them is American Gods. Similar to Good Omens, I also had seen the series before, and I was really intrigued and really liked it. I also am kind of really interested in everything mythology these days, so I figured, yeah, this would be probably it. Like the premise of the story, the premise of the book is really interesting, intriguing to me. But I haven't read it yet. My favorite Neil Gaiman book, or this is probably the first Neil Gaiman book that I read, and I am so happy that I finally have a physical copy of it, and that is The Ocean at the End of the Lane. And this book, oh, I love it. I love every single bit of it. It's not a very large book, as you can see. It's pretty short, and it's such an intriguing story. And I mean, it's not a fairy tale, it's not a book for children, even though the main character is a child at the beginning of the story, or at least, well, at the beginning of the story he's actually an adult, but remembering his childhood and the things that happened there. And yeah, so the book revolves around his childhood, and yeah, really interesting, really fascinating, really captivating. So definitely recommend reading that if you have not yet read anything else by Neil Gaiman. That was my starting point, and I'm definitely going down a rabbit hole here, so I love him. Now next up, the next book by Neil Gaiman, and I think, if I'm looking here now, I don't have any other Neil Gaiman books to show you, but this is Stardust for now. I read this, like, as you can see, it's a very short book too, so I read this in like a few days, and that is very short for me because I usually take like weeks to finish a book. And yeah, it's also very interesting, very beautiful. A fairy tale story, but with a little dark twist. So that's what I love about Neil Gaiman, that in general he writes very magical, fantastical books, like low fantasy, not like, it's mostly standalone books, and they really capture you in a new way. And it's not just this childish thing, it's not middle grade per se, even though middle grade sure is great. But it's just, everyone can enjoy this, like adults, young adults, and maybe even some children for some, I don't know, for some reason. But yeah, moving on to the next book. I have bought a copy of Cien Años de Soledad, or 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Or Marquez, I don't know, I always say that name wrong, but yeah, it's a very, I mean, if you don't know it yet, it's a family saga that follows a Colombian family in the fictional town of Macondo, and it's the family, wait, I forgot their name. Well, it's the family saga about the Buendia. I haven't read it in so long, I'm sorry, and I'm really bad with names, so it's actually like a surprise that I even know the name, because usually I always forget like what the main character is even called. So I don't even know, I think they didn't even mention how the kid is called in this book, so but yeah, don't ask me about those things. And yeah, it's a very nice book. It won the Nobel Prize for Literature, so you definitely should read it because it's very interesting, very intriguing. Sometimes it can be a little bit confusing because most of the characters in this book, since it's a family saga, have the same, first of all, surname, obviously, but also the same first names most often, especially the male components of the family. And yeah, so there's that. You have to be really like sorry, the books fell over and I got distracted. You have to be very not patient, but you know, have a good attention span. Wait a minute, because everything's falling over here. Okay, next off we have another book in Spanish, and that is La Casa de los Espíritus by Isabel Allende. I really love her. This is the first book by Isabel Allende that I read, and I absolutely adored it. Now I'm also in kind of like, she's my favorite Hispanic author. She's Chilean, just like me, so... And for those of you who maybe are a little bit familiar with Chilean history, that is a tangent that's actually not really important, but for this book it actually is, yeah. Because she is the niece of ex-president Salvador Allende, the one that got couped, like military coup, and then there was a dictatorship and everything in Chile in the 70s. And this book actually talks also about a family, also forgot their name, is not important right now, but anyways. And this family lived in Chile from like beginning of the 20th century, yeah. And the story follows them until like after the coup. And so what happened with that, and also they got family members going to exile and also being like kidnapped by, you know, the regime. And so it's very interesting because it really weaves well together. Like it really weaves fantasy and historical facts well together. Like it really works in this specific instance. I'm so sorry, I'm so hot, like... Anyways, Next up, we have one of my favorite books. The House at the Cerulean Sea. And I really adore this book. I read it also on like ebook, and yeah, I decided I needed this physical copy. Oh, I just adore it. I will annotate the shit out of this book when I read it again, just for that matter. And I'm so excited also about the new release that is coming out in 2023, like in January or something like that, like not House of the Puppets, like in the Lives of Puppets or something like that, by TJ Klune. And yeah, super looking forward to it. I already pre-ordered it. I usually would never do something like that, but I have such faith in TJ Klune. I also read his other book, Under the Whispering Door, and I also loved it. I also pre-ordered it after I read it, like on ebook. And yeah, I have such faith in him as an author that I definitely did not hesitate when I saw that another book was coming out. But yeah. Now moving on, we have another of my favorite books, but now thinking about it, I don't know if I really loved this book because I really loved it, or because at the time it was so hyped. And yeah, I listened to this book the first time, and I don't know, I feel like some people say that who tried to read it that they didn't really like it, or that the writing was kind of tedious and, I don't know, boring in some parts, but I actually really enjoyed it while listening to it. There was just enough intrigue, just enough drama, gossip, I don't know, just passion, everything going on. It never got really boring at some parts, because I have read some books this year that really bored the shit out of me. Like the beginning was fine, and then the middle part was just not it, and then I was just so glad that it finished. But with this book, The Song of Achilles, oh, did I even say what book it was? I don't know. Well, I was talking about The Song of Achilles. I listened to this on audiobook. I really liked it. I really loved the story with Patroclus and Achilles, obviously. It was really fuzzy feelings and everything. And I know it's a story we all know, but it's a really beautiful retelling, a really beautiful new point of view. And so, yeah, I'm really much looking forward to reading this again and as a physical copy and annotating maybe beautiful parts. Yeah, so much about that. Now next up, I have To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I read this book first in high school, like equivalent of high school here in Germany, and I really loved it. I didn't expect to like it that much. I was like, no, this is a very good book actually. I really like it. And I don't know if I read it on like ebook on my Kindle, or if I had a physical copy back then, but somehow I don't have a physical copy now. And so I decided, yeah, you know what, just get it. Because most of these books, almost all of them, I got secondhand, except for The House at the Cerulean Sea maybe. But they were all very cheap. Even the ones that I got new, like The Song of Achilles was also new. They were really like in sale. Like I paid maybe €5 for that, and that's nothing for a book. And so yeah, for this I also paid very little. I don't even remember how much, but very little. Now no, it's not last but not least, like last but not least of this pile, but I have another one going on. So last of this pile is Circe. Like, as I said before, I'm really in this mythology trip right now. I really love everything that has to do with whatever type of mythology, like mostly Greek mythology, but I'm also open to like Norse mythology, or like Native American or Native South American, whatever types of mythology I'm very into. And so yeah, I really enjoyed this one. also listened to it first, but then I was like, you know, at some point, because I listened to The Song of Achilles and this one on audiobook, and I was like, yeah, I really enjoy these books. So the next books, because I have a few others that deal with mythology, I was just like, you know what? I mean, I do love mythology books or retellings, so I might as well just read them and not just go safe and just listen to them, because I know I like them, so it's fine. So my next book is this one, The Origin of Satan. And before y'all freak out, it is an anthropological collection of essays that deals with like the origin of Satan in different cultures, in Christianity, in Judaism, and like pagan communities or pagan religions and so on. So it really has a deep dive in that. And how, for example, pagans were demonized by Christian by Christians in general. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm really interested in everything that is like anthropology, but also more on the mythological, folk, occult side, if you can say that. Yeah. Now next we have, no wait, I should like maybe continue with these because this is like somehow the topic. We have, wait, I will start with the first. I think this is called The Secret of Medusa in English. It's Il Segreto di Medusa. I bought this on my last trip to Italy. And yeah, it's by Hannah Lynn. So I don't remember how the English title is, but yeah. I will just read the Italian titles and tell you which order they are, because this is the first book. And then there are two others. The last one came out recently, so you will probably be able to find those. And yeah. Did I listen to this on audiobook? I think so. Yeah. So yeah, I'm guilty. I listened to this on audiobook and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I mean, when I went there and saw them, I was like, yeah. And it was also very cheap for its hardcover, and it was like 10 euros each. So yeah, it was a very good deal to actually buy a hardcover book for, as you can see, 10 euros. That's nothing. And I really enjoyed the story, so you can tell, you can say like, oh, but it's a shitty book, so. So this next book is like the sequel of Il Segreto di Medusa, and it's La Vendetta degli Dei, also by Hannah Lynn, obviously. And it retails also for $9.90 in Italy as a hardcover edition. Like, I feel so fancy with this. And I don't know, I haven't read this. I hope it's good. I really like the first one, but this is where I go a little anxious or paranoid, because usually I like to read books first as an ebook format, for example, or as an audiobook, and then if I really love them, buy the physical copy, because those are usually more expensive than other formats. But with these two, I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm here in Italy right now. Like, not right now, but then I thought that. I'm in Italy right now, and I have this offer of like $9.90 for hardcover books. And it's all of them. And I wanted to buy them anyways. And so it's better to buy them all right now and not like wait until maybe I have read it and then not have the possibility to buy it that cheap as a hardcover, but like have them all together immediately. So this is La Vendetta degli Dei, the second book by Hannah Lynn in this genre, let's say. And the third one that came out pretty recently, I don't know when exactly, it doesn't really say, I think. Probably 2022. Is Il Mistero delle Amazzoni. I don't know if this is like the same story, like if this is a sequel to the sequel, or if this is another story. But yeah, it has the same types of cover. And it also deals with mythological figures. So probably, I don't even know if the second book is like about Medusa again or if it's about someone else. But yeah, I'm really excited because it's probably gonna be good. And yeah, those are my mythology books. And last but not least, because this is a big ass book, is no other but War and Peace. I bought the Italian edition, Guerra e Pace, because I don't know, I somehow I associate Italian with like classic literature. So whenever I want to read classics, I'm like, yeah. And also because I would understand them better than if I read them in English, I think. Because classics tend to be very, like, you know, extravagantly written, if I may say so, or use words that I'm not really familiar with. Because I've been out of school and having like English lessons for 3-4 years now. So I haven't had English lessons in like 3 or 4 years. And that's a lot. And so, yeah, I bought this. Also very cheap. I don't remember how much, because I bought this also secondhand. But it's in perfect condition, as you can see. Like, girl, it's perfect. And I'm very excited to read this. This was really bought in a whim, because I like to watch a lot of booktube as well, and there were some of my favorite booktubers who were also reading War and Peace and really enjoying it and making a challenge out of it, etc. And so I was like, yeah, I really should read this. And yeah, I'm now super excited to read it. I thought it would be chunkier. It's like I don't know, it's big, yeah. It's a lot of pages. It's like 1,400 or something like that in Italian. Or maybe less. Oh, it's less. It's like 1,000 pages, around that. But still, it looks like a dictionary, size-wise. And so, yeah, that's about it, I guess. And it's a lot of books, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I think that I will at some point be making like vlogs or review videos about some of these books or other books that I buy along the way. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. And wait, sorry, I totally forgot to add in the end that if you have read any of the books that I mentioned today, then totally feel free to write down in the comments below how you liked them, if it was a top or a flop for you, if you were disappointed by anything, or if that's your new favorite book or whatever. And yeah, I'll be very interested to read your comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!